In episode 1 of this course, we learned about the gesture and the shape of the head. Now, in this episode, we'll be learning the proportions and adding the side plane. Starting off with our basic sphere for the head, adding the center line and adding the jaw. Now move on to adding the brow line. The brow line actually is very important for us to measure the proportions of the head. So halfway from the brow line to the chin, we have the base of the nose. And halfway from the base of the nose to the brow line, we have the eye socket. That's where the eye socket sits. And from the bottom of the eye socket to the brow line, we have the center of the eye, just measuring in halfway from the bottom of the eye socket to the brow line is the center of the eye. And 1/3 from the nose to the chin is the mouth. And halfway from the mouth to the bottom of the chin is actually the top of the chin. So we're just measuring everything half. So let's do another example quickly here. So our basic sphere, our center line, then the bottom of the chin, the jaw. The jaw is really simplified at this stage. In the next video, that's where we'll go deeper in the jaw. So the brow line, halfway through, we have the bottom of the nose. Halfway again, we have the eye socket. Then halfway from the brow line to the eyes, down bottom of the eye socket, we have the center of the eye, and our third, and from the third, which is the mouth, to the bottom of the chin, we have the top of the chin. So another example, this time let's do a 3/4 view instead. So bottom of the chin, the jaw, the brow line, then bottom is the chin, bottom of the chin. And let's find our half, which is the base of the nose, and halfway through that we have the eye socket. And from the eye socket to the brow line, we have our center of the eye. Then 1/3, we have the mouth. Then halfway from the mouth to the bottom of the chin, we have the top of the chin. Adding the mouth is the only thing that doesn't go halfway, because because all the rest are just half, half, half. So let's do a side view. Our egg shape for the cranial mass of the head, then have our center line. This center line actually defines the tilt. Then our jawline, and halfway for the base of the nose, halfway of that for the eye socket, halfway again for the eyes, then 1/3 for the mouth, and halfway for the top of the chin. So now let's do one last example for this before we move on to adding the side plane. So basic sphere, our center line, this line defines the tilt, then the center line of the face, which is actually the T shape we talked about in the first episode, the gesture parts. And the brown line halfway for the bottom of the nose, halfway through that for the eye socket, halfway for the mouth and the chin. And now for the side plane. Drawing the side plane, I usually think of it as a cylinder, because seeing the size of a cylinder is much more easier. So we use the concept of a cylinder here, and there is also another way to look at the adding the side plane. It's basically just the sphere, like the head, and a cutout from the sphere to give that side plane. So let's put this concept in our drawing. So our basic gesture of the head, our sphere, brown line, the tilt for the head, center line of the face favors one side, and our basic jaw. Now let's put in our proportions halfway through for the nose, then halfway from the nose and the brow line for the eye socket, halfway of that for the center of the eye, 1/3 for the mouth, halfway for the chin. Let's quickly just add the hairline here, because it helps define the side plane. So measure from the hairline to the bottom of the nose. That's where the side plane stretches. So a basic sphere in there, and we divide it into 4 equal halves. So let's do it for the front view now. Our sphere, center line. Let's quickly add our jaw and our basic proportions. But for the front, unlike the side of a cylinder where you can see both sides, looking at it from the front, you are unable to see that, but for drawing the head, we actually do need to see that, so we add it slightly. So halfway again for the eye socket, 1/3 for the mouth, halfway for the top of the chin. The hairline doesn't actually need a specific measurement. So we quickly cut out the side plane. Also try to divide it in halves here. So let's do another example for this side. Our basic cranial mass, the center line, front of the face, adding the jaw, and let's do the measurements now. Halfway through that for the eye socket, halfway for the eye, 1/3 for the mouth, halfway for the top of the chin. And let's put our hairline somewhere here to measure it. So from the hairline to the nose line there, let's draw another egg shape similar to the one we use for the cranial mass and divide it into 4 equal halves. So this is the same concept when drawing from a different angle, maybe face facing up. Let's do that quickly. The brow line, this defines our tilt, and the center of the face, the jawline, halfway. Now it's basically same concept, half, but now you see them facing up. They are actually closer together when it's viewed from the top, but still try to make it half. So let's establish that from a face looking down. Now the brow line actually curves down. So center line of the face. I put that there to define the top of the head. Now our jaw, halfway through for the nose, halfway for the eye socket, halfway for the eye line, 1/3 for the mouth, and half for the top of the chin. Let's briefly put our eye line and then add the side plane. So let's quickly put that concept into this head gesture we did in the last video. So now for the front view, halfway from the brow line to the nose for the eye socket, and halfway through that for the center of the eye, 1/3 for the mouth, then halfway through that for the chin. Now for our 3/4 view, halfway for the nose again, halfway from the nose and the eyebrow, halfway again, then 1/3 for the mouth, and halfway from the mouth to the bottom of the chin for the top of the chin. Then the side, same thing, halfway for the nose, half for the eye socket, half for the eye line, 1/3 for the mouth, and half for the top of the chin. Now let's quickly add the side plane. Put our hairline there and basically do the cutout for the side plane. Let's put that in the 3/4 view. Our hairline, from the hairline to the base of the nose, draw a sphere and divide it in 4 equal parts. Now for the side, let's do that here. The hairline, from the hairline to the nose, we'll put in our egg shape. And also divide it in 4 equal parts. I guess that's all for the proportions and the side plane. So I think what you need to take home from this video is to measure the facial proportions in halves, and the side plane, see it as a cutout from the sphere you drew for the head. I think we should maybe do an assignment for this video. So the assignment actually is for you to combine all the lessons from the gesture video and this video and draw the basic head, adding the proportions, adding the side plane. And if you haven't watched the first video, please go and watch that video before you watch this one. So for the next video, we'll establish the ear and actually draw the jawline to look like a jawline for real now, and also learn the planes of the face. So I guess I'll see you there.